post-apocalyptic tale follows Augustine, a lonely scientist in the Arctic, as he races to stop Sully and her fellow astronauts from returning home to a mysterious global catastrophe. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new Netflix review, and today we're talking about the sci-fi drama The Midnight Sky, which will be streaming on Netflix December 23rd. I'm gonna let you all know if it's worth checking out in this spoiler-free review, but before we dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All those links can be found in the description below. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. That way you all can get the alert from when I drop new videos. It will mean a lot to me if you all can share and like this video. It really helps out the channel, but I also appreciate the support. And in the comments, let me know if you all enjoyed this film, The Midnight Sky. Let me know your pros, your cons, your thoughts on the direction, the performances, the story, and also let me know your top 3 space movies. Let's discuss that in the comments below. So for me, when it comes to this film, I was intrigued. I liked the trailer. George Clooney as a director really doesn't work for me, but I love him as an actor. And then you look at this cast. This is the space crew here. I mean, not only has George Clooney been in his fair share of space movies, but Felicity Jones in Rogue One, David Oyelowo has been in Interstellar. You have Kyle Chandler in First Man, Demián Bichir in Alien Covenant. So this cast knows its way around the space genre. So here we are discussing The Midnight Sky, starting off with the pros. I will say one of the first things I noticed when I was done watching this movie was, you know what, the performances really did elevate somewhat of a lackluster script by an incredible screenwriter, I mind you, Mark L. Smith of The Revenant. We'll talk about his script a little bit later, but I feel like the performances truly did elevate it. I think of George Clooney as Augustine. When we meet him in the film, he's kind of content with what's going on in his life, not only with his health, but also the current state of the world ending by this mysterious catastrophe. He's older, he's grizzled, but then he has this new spark in life. He has this new purpose when he meets this young girl, Iris, and he wants to now help more people out because, again, he spends his whole life trying to come up with a way of making sure that humanity can find a place to live on when the world is ending. So I think George Clooney did a good job in his role. I think most of the cast did the best that they could. Our space crew did the best they could. So again, performances solid enough to elevate a somewhat lackluster script. Transitioning to the visuals of the film, which both land in my positives and negatives. For the most part, the visuals were pretty stunning. I think of shots in space. I think of when we have Felicity Jones on this K23 planet. I think of George Clooney in Arctic shots. I thought that the visuals, for the most part, were pretty solid. Switching gears into the actual kind of the stories and the theme, without giving too much away, there's a sense of isolation. You get that with the George Clooney character, as well as some of the moments of our scientists in space. And this idea, in particular with Augustine, as this man who spent the most of his life being consumed by his work and being locked into his work. Again, he's a scientist and he has been given the task to try to find these planets to make sure that when things kind of hit the fan, which it does in this film, we have a place to live. So he's trying to make up for all that lost time within this character, and you get a pretty good journey for Augustine, and particularly when you conclude this film, when you get to the conclusion, I thought it was a really good, complete emotional arc for that character without diving into the spoilers. But switching gears into my criticisms, this film is based on Good Morning Midnight by Lily Brooks-Dalton, and this to me is a perfect example of a movie based on the book, which you can tell that there's bones, there's a foundation of a good story, but this film just gives you the bare minimum and kind of gives you the bare bones when it comes to the story. This film left me, I should say, with a lot of unanswered questions, which is fine for some movies, but things like this mysterious catastrophe, which we really never learn what's really happening on Earth. You know, we have these scientists in space and they can't communicate to Earth, and we really don't get a reason. Like, we know why, but why weren't they warned when they were in space? It's like little things like that to me just kind of left me frustrated with this film, and kind of left the audience member, or like I said, me, filling in the blanks. Which, speaking of blank, I'm not going to lie, I really wasn't that connected to this story. Both stories. We have two parallel stories with Augustine trying to get the warning out to the scientists in space. We have the scientists in space doing space stuff, trying to avoid storms and, try to keep their sanity. But I found both stories just to be very lacking. I would have much preferred either us just focus solely on Augustine, try to get this message out to them and just focusing on his story, or just focusing on the space scientists. But the balancing of the two stories to me just felt kind of just mishandled handled. And kind of switching into the technical aspects of this movie, you have two-time Academy Award-winning composer Alexandre Desplat, who I am a big fan of, but in this film, his score felt so out of place. It felt less of a sci-fi drama and more of a generic score for just like a random movie. Again, a incredible composer, but this was not the film for me when it came to his score. I think of the production of the spaceship. This might sound like minor things, but it was just things that bothered me. The spaceship, it was just too shiny. It didn't look like it was lived in. This crew of scientists are supposed to be on this spaceship for 2 years on this mission. It looked like they've never even used a spaceship. It looked like they were on sleeping pods for 2 years versus actually using the spaceship. It looked like a very clean office of someone that worked for Google in Silicon Valley. I thought it just was just too Hollywood, too shiny and too clean. And I mentioned it earlier in my positives with the mixed bag of visuals. Again, there were some nice visuals, but there were also some really kind of iffy visuals, some kind of suspect visuals, especially I think of one of the opening scenes with Felicity Jones where she's on this beautiful planet, and when she's running, it looks like it was just a green screen. It's a particular shot of some of our scientists in a spaceship. It looks like very early 2000s visuals. So again, the visuals were kind of hit or miss for me. And then kind of wrapping up my cons with my 2 final points. This cast, again, I mind you, George Clooney, Felicity Jones, David Oyelowo, Tiffany Boone, Kyle Chandler, Demián Bichir, a great cast, some great actors, but I truly felt that they were just misused. We were given these kind of shallow emotional moments with these characters. Like there were moments where they would have these like simulated hologram memories of their family, and we were supposed to it felt forced. It felt like we were supposed to be like, oh, they have a family, but we only get like 2 or 3 seconds with those moments. It never really fully true like they were a crew to me. Again, they were supposed to be on this mission for 2 years, but I never really felt that camaraderie and that kind of bondship within this crew. And going back again to just the emotional connection just kind of was lacking for me. Again, I mentioned Augustine has a character arc, but again, it just felt like a little bit too little too late. And then lastly, I'm not gonna lie, I was quite bored by this movie. I didn't necessarily think that we were going to get this action-packed, alien invasion, world-ending film, but at least give me some character development. Give me some character backstory. When we get to these moments that have like quote-unquote stakes or some action-felt moments, it felt flat to me and really underwhelming because yet again, I didn't know who these characters were. I didn't really feel for these characters. So when we get those moments, it just felt like disconnect. So wrapping this thing up, before I give you my overall thoughts and my score, make sure to like, share, comment your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other content. With that being said, let me give you my overall thoughts and my score for The Midnight Sky. So overall, I felt like this film had the good bones and a foundation of a really good character-driven story based on a book, but the film just is a paint-by-numbers generic sci-fi drama with not much to offer. I really wish that George Clooney maybe would have let someone else direct this film so he can focus more on his character, because the film, to me, I truly never connected to the story nor its characters, and we really don't get a good balance of the story on space nor on Earth. So with that being said, I'll give The Midnight Sky a 2.5 out of 5. The film tries to be Interstellar meets Ad Astra, but it falls so flat. It doesn't come close to those films. It's just really boring to me. But again, that's just my thoughts. 2.5 out of 5. Let me know what you all thought of the film once you've seen it. As always, make sure to like, share, comment your thoughts on the film below, your thoughts on the performances, the story, the direction by George Clooney, and give me your favorite space films in the comments as well. Me, Interstellar all day, every day, but let me know yours in the comments. Thank you all for watching this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you on the next video.